Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I had just recently uploaded my favorite drugstore affordable bronzers and contouring products. I hope you guys, for those of you who have seen that video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that's why you kind of came back, or maybe you're just like, damn, that sucked, I hope this video is better. But thank you guys so much for watching that video if you did, and if you didn't, I'll link that down below in the description box so you can check it out. But today, as I mentioned, I wanted to do my favorite affordable / drugstore highlight powders. And there's one cream product, and as I mentioned in my other video, I wanted to say drugstore / affordable because I do have Colourpop in this category, and I like to kind of just link that together because honestly the Colourpop products are cheaper than some of the drugstore products, so might as well, you know, help you save even more money. But I pulled out my favorite highlighters, so if you guys want to save some money, but are you really saving money if you're gonna buy all of these, but you're splurging and you're getting more bang for your buck, you know? So if you guys want to see what some of my favorite highlighters are, then just keep on watching. So first I will talk about one highlight that I had just recently mentioned. I did a review and demo on a bunch of e.l.f. products, and I feel like I'm always doing a lot of e.l.f. product reviews because they have so many products, so I want to try to hit them all. And I definitely picked up some products that weren't new per se, but I just hadn't really gotten around to testing them. And one of them that I had mentioned that I love, it's definitely going to be in my next favorites, this is their e.l.f. HD highlighting powder, and I picked up two shades, but one that I really love, feel like all year round for my skin tone, is the shade, was it Starlight Glow? The other one is Sunset Glow, which I really do like, especially when I have a little bit more of a tan, but Starlight Glow I feel like just suits me all year round, and I was really impressed with e.l.f. and this powder. Not to say that they don't have any good highlight powders, but other than this one and the palette, I don't have, yeah, no wait, do I have two? No, that's one. This is like the only non-palette product, like a whole highlighting shade that I love. The formula is so like smooth, almost like Becca, like highlight smooth, like that's how smooth it is. You want to just keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing your fingers on it. Like this feels like a high-end smoothness type highlight, so I would definitely recommend these. And I love the fact that they have multiple different shades, so because not, once again, like I mentioned with the bronzers, there's not a universal highlight. I feel like highlight maybe you can kind of pull off a little bit more, you can kind of stretch it, the term universal, across the spectrum a little bit more than you can with maybe bronzers. But definitely I love the fact that you have options, because who doesn't like options, especially undertones, skin tones, you know, that gets a little bit crazy. But this is definitely one that I would definitely recommend. I haven't seen many other people using this one on their channel. Maybe it wasn't as new when I purchased it, because I purchased this a while ago and I've been meaning to do that e.l.f. review quite a while ago. I just been pushing it just because they weren't brand new products, but I hadn't really ever seen anybody mention this, and I have always been on my YouTube game. I know I've fallen off, you know, maybe these last couple weeks recently, but I am on it, and I hadn't barely, maybe I'm not watching the right people, but or maybe the people I've just watched haven't mentioned it. So I'm mentioning it to you. Pick these highlighters up. They're definitely worth it. So I have two Wet n Wild highlights, and the first one that I fell in love with, and this was originally from the Fergie collection, collaborated with Wet n Wild, and so mine is called Hollywood Boulevard, but now they kind of took off the Fergie name, just kept it anyway and called it Boozy Brunch. But this is definitely more of like that gold highlight, but like that gold highlight that I can even pull off. I love this shade for the longest, before I really built my collection. This is definitely my go-to like drugstore highlight. I feel like most of these highlights I had gotten maybe within like more recently. This is definitely one of the first ones. So I was like, I need an affordable highlight. Which one do I use? I need an affordable highlight. Which one do I use? Which one do I use? This guy was a star of many shows, especially because I wanted to do like mainly drugstore looks, and I just had this guy to kind of play with. But I still love them, because they have this one and then they have a more pinky one, but for some reason, I don't know if maybe they've changed the formula, but the pinky one, it wasn't as smooth. It felt somewhat of a grit. My fingers didn't glide on it all that well, so she said. But I don't know, the formula is just a little bit different, and especially since it took the Fergie name off, I don't know if they've changed anything, but I would definitely recommend this one if you love a golden highlight. you're gonna love this one. The next one that, oh my god, Wet n Wild. And Wet n Wild, like I've said before, is definitely a brand that sticks to drugstore prices. It's always really like, it's still like, damn, it's not $20, that's amazing at the drugstore. They stick around that $5 range, $3 range, $6 range. It's like, you know, alright, I'm not gonna have a heart attack at the drugstore type of a thing. The other highlight they had come out with originally, limited edition. This is their highlighting powder, and this was in the shade Precious Petals. And was it like last year or something? But they had come out with it before, limited edition. I was like, I don't need it, do I? Then I realized I did. But luckily they released it permanently, and recently they released it in a large selection of different shades, which I love. But oh, this formula is so smooth. This is just like a really pretty, like, it's not gold, it's not Tule Champagne, it's not super pinky, it's like a really nice, like kind of like rose goldish type of a shade, but like a rose goldish shade that like my skin tone can pull off, a tanner skin tone can pull off. And now they even have more colors, so if you want something in a different tone, you can definitely check that out. And I think this was like maybe around the $5 range, not too much more than that. I don't think it was above 10 bucks, definitely somewhere in between there, maybe even cheaper. But oh my god, if you want, if I had to recommend at least one, I've got a couple. Highlights is so much harder if I had to just pick one, but this is definitely in my top 3. Like, highlights are so bad. When doing this video, I did all my makeup and I was like, I need to put on my highlight, and I have to use one of my drugstore highlights. It was the hardest decision ever. I was like, oh, I don't know which one to do. Let's just put on multiple highlights. This was going to be one of the ones I was going to put on, but I was like, you know what? The one that I actually put on my face today and is definitely a favorite, this is the Milani highlight, their strobe light. Oh my god, when using this one, I love it. Oh, Milani did such a good job. The packaging feels, it's like so simple, but it just looks so luxe and fancy. Like the way they kind of did the imprint on the actual pan, it just makes it look so like so much fancier than it is, so much more luxurious than the price actually is. It is $10. So some people might be like, oh, that's kind of a little bit high, but it's, hey, it's $10. There's some $30 highlights out there that I bought, that you've bought. It's $10, you know? So that's definitely a deal if you kind of want, you look at it that way. I picked up mine in the shade 02 Day Glow, and I think I actually got also 03, is it Sun Glow? Something like that. They're usually around the name. Sun Glow, Sunlight, Starlight. They're usually around that name, but I picked up 02 Day Glow. I think this one's perfect for my skin tone. The other one I use maybe like right now when I'm a little bit tanner, but this is definitely my universal all year round shade of my highlights. And the formula, I love it so much, but the intensity of that glow, you can build it up, you can spray your brush. I love this Milani highlight. They also have multiple colors. I think those are definitely also some of my favorite products. The ones that have multiple shades for multiple people, because then guess what? You got way more people loving your product and calling it their favorites because they can find a shade for them. Common sense, you would think, right? But yes, definitely another reason why I love this highlight so much. So I chose this guy today for this video. But I want to say he's neck and neck with this one. He was neck and neck with like 5 other highlights here. That one I was like, I should just slather in my face and highlight today. Another e.l.f. highlight, or rather highlights, a highlight palette that I love, and this is their Illuminating palette. So this is for those of you who don't like super intense highlights. You want more of that subtle glow. If maybe you want an affordable dupe for the Hourglass, their ambient lighting palettes, but that's like 60 some dollars, and you want to save way more money, $60, $6 for the Illuminating palette. $60, $6. And the packaging as well, it's so simple, but it's so sleek, it's so just, it makes so much sense to travel with, especially. But I love these. I'll link, definitely I did a review and demo of this product, and I'll link that down below in the description box. Highlights a little bit harder to kind of do reviews and demos on. Usually I'll like add it to review and demo if it was a new product that I came out with other products, so I'll kind of like throw it in there, because you can't just be like, look at this highlight, ooh, you know, that's gonna be what I'm gonna do throughout the video for a highlight. I love it, I love it, you know, type of a thing. So, but this one, it was like multiple different shades I definitely want to play around with. This is probably one highlight palette that I actually did do a review and demo on, and I love it, especially for those of you, you don't want too much like beam of highlight on your face, but you can kind of build it up if you want that option as well. Speaking of beam of highlights, I love this. My thing with this is that after the summertime, I hope they come out with more shades. For me specifically, maybe something lighter. The highlight I'm talking about, this, speaking of beaming highlight, this is the Maybelline Master Chrome Highlight. Jesus Christ. Oh Jesus. This is a glow, and you know, oh, so soft. Oh, good. Yeah, this is like, oh, so soft. Yeah, see that would that's what my highlight review would be. I'd be like, girl, chill. But that, do you see that? That is beautiful. I can probably pull this off, or rather, I will pull it off. I will make it work. Now that I am tanner, like even when I wasn't tan, I was like, I will make this work. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too like dark for me. Ugh, if you're medium to tan to like deep dark skin tone, this is your jam. Try it out for me. Wear it in my honor, because I feel like, honestly, it's my favorite because the formula is so great. Just looking at it, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. I was like, just please come out, because they came out, the color on there says, what was it, like 100 molten gold. So I was like, does that mean they're gonna do like 0, you know, molten like champagne or something? Something that'll work a little, because this formula is amazing. Maybelline needs to expand on this formula and make different shades, because this will be like a hidden gem, a holy grail at the drugstore. Like, do you know how many bitches will be out buying the shade? Like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Do you see that? It's so beautiful. It's like a little bit deeper than like Champagne Pop from Becca. So Becca, that Champagne Pop works a lot of different skin tones. So this one's probably just a little bit harder to pull off for like my skin tone, light and like fair. Definitely, it's a little bit hard to kind of pull off. But I would try and pull it off. Even if I don't pull it off, I'll still wear it. But if you can pull it off, get this. My last two favorite highlights are actually Colourpop highlights, and think these were each maybe like $6, $7 or $8, no more than that. The first love of mine was the Colourpop highlight in the shade Wisp. I fell in love with these because of their like cushion gel formula. Oh, I just love rubbing my handle in it. I just love the cooling effect. I think this is like something perfect for my dry skin. And once again, I've said before, Colourpop has so many different options for different skin tones. So for me, this, I think this is great for dry skin, especially if you don't like, so this is definitely like my non-powder highlights. If you prefer more of like that gel highlight, put this on before powder, and then you can even layer it on top with another highlight, or just like this if you just want that kind of like glow from within. And I think this is definitely your best friend. So I haven't tried it yet, but I mentioned it since I got the new Colourpop their powder highlights. I was like, I should combine this one and then add this one on top, and Jesus Christ, that would be beautiful. So this is, oh, I remember the name. This is the Colourpop highlight in the shade Here Kitty Kitty, because I like the name. I did the review and demo on this one along with the other new launches that Colourpop came out with. So one of those formulas, it's definitely very, very smooth, so pigmented, and I definitely just need to combine this with their other like gel formula, and that will be like a power combo, and combined it would be what, like $6 plus maybe $8 at most, $14, which honestly is probably the price of some like one drugstore product. So definitely combine the two and you will get a very intense highlights. I did a review and demo, check it out if you want to hear a little bit more. Who doesn't love a handful of highlights and fingers? Beautiful. But if you are a highlight lover, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've tried other highlights. I have other highlights in my drawer, other drugstore affordable ones. They just didn't make it to this list. And or maybe there are just some other highlights that I have not tried. So if there's a highlight that you have that you recommend that you haven't seen me use on my channel, because maybe you are someone who actually like clicks on my videos and watches them and you've seen what I use, then let me know if there's something that you haven't seen me use before, a review, and that you think I need in my life. So I share with you, you share it with me, please. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with some more videos. Check the description box for the link for the bronzer and contouring my favorites, drugstore and affordable, and also some reviews and demos on some of the products that I mentioned. I feel like for the highlight ones there won't be as many as for the bronzers and contours. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys next time.